Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for viewing our second video in respect of incorporation of a company. Today, we are actually going to be addressing some of the issues that you have raised and forwarded to us. Thank you very much for your support and forwarding us with this overwhelming response. I am Sukhdev from Law Chambers of Sukhdev, and together with me is Seelan. Jeannie.
Hi, I'm Shivajini Seelan from JS Partners. Yeah.
And together we shall try and answer the questions that have been put forward to us. Okay, so in this series, and which is a continuation of incorporation of a company recording that we did on the 27th of November this year. All right, and so shall we continue? Shall we start with the questions? Okay, hold on.
Yes, why not? Yes.
Okay, so today we shall be answering the foreign director's dilemma. And this dilemma has been brought forward because of the pandemic. And let's see what the questions are. Okay, right. So the first question is, what are the current rules and conditions for foreigners to be shareholders or directors?
Okay, Sukhdev, good question. Well, when it comes to shareholders on the Companies Act, in the Companies Act, there's no issue. The minimum requirement is one shareholder. The shareholder can be, residing in any country, not necessarily in Malaysia. So there's no issues with reference to shareholding. When it comes to a director will need to have an employment pass, and he or she must be residing in Malaysia as well. So that's the difference between the shareholder and the director.
When you say employment pass, you're referring to the employment permit, right?
That's right. Employment permit that would need to be applied. Yes.
Okay. All right. So the next question is, what happens to the company with a foreign director whose employment pass has expired during the MCO period?
Okay. Well, in this case, there's no issue affecting the company, but the director will have to reapply for the employment pass and renewal, of course, with immediate effect. Now, at the moment, due to the MCO, at the beginning of this year, there was a moratorium. However, now that the immigration departments have started working again, applications can be filed online, and there is basically no issues in terms of whether the person is overseas applying for it or even currently in Malaysia and applying for it, because this can be done via the ESD portal. And the offices are still working, even though they're not, working on a full day, but they are they're able to access the portal.
I see. So basically you're saying that online applications, right?
That's right. Online applications can be done.
Okay. So because the question that was posed is what happens to the company, and basically the status of the directors and their issues with the employment pass or permit will not change the status quo of the company in terms of directorship.
Yeah, it would not, at this point, it would not affect the status quo of the company, because they're not able to travel out, and they need to show efforts that they are applying for the renewal of the employment pass. If it was a situation where, there was no MCO, and, then of course, if they have not applied for their permits, then they may need to find a replacement director for the time being.
Okay, and if they are able to resolve all issues regarding their employment pass or permit, despite being away from Malaysia because of the travel ban, it is not akin to them being deemed or considered as resigned or removed as a director, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. It won't be considered. Yeah.
Because they
At
are
this point, it won't be considered. Yeah, that's right. Because, you know, because of the travel ban, they are having issues flying out. So therefore, you know, there will be no issues in that sense.
Okay. Resignation and removal of a director, that's a whole set of different rules and procedures to be applied. Correct?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, maybe you should look out for our next video presentation, hopefully sometime next year in the bright new year, where we will address issues and procedures in relation to the resignation and removal of the director, together with Jeannie Seelan, of course.
Of course.
Okay.
Thanks,
Welcome. Now, addressing the next question here is, would it be an issue for a foreign director who has an employment pass in Malaysia to receive his salary in a foreign bank as he's currently in his home country without being liable to pay withholding tax due to the current situation and his inability to return to Malaysia? So basically here the issue is the foreign director receiving his salary in a bank of his home country, and he is liable to pay withholding tax.
Withholding tax, whether he's liable to pay. Okay, before I move on to withholding tax, basically, you know, if the director has an employment pass in Malaysia, he is currently stuck in a foreign country because of the COVID-19 and the travel restrictions. Paying him a salary, which you would do here if he was here, would be just subject to the local PCB monthly tax deductions, and we will just remit the net salary to him in his foreign bank. Because of the current situation of the travel ban and the COVID-19. So there will not be any subject to withholding tax because of this situation. Okay, yes. But yes, carry on.
Sorry, you wanted to finish your answer.
No, it's okay. I'm done with the salary part.
Okay. Coming to my next question, when is withholding tax payable and in what sort of circumstances?
Okay, so withholding taxes are payable if the payments are made to a non-resident and the payments are due to, situations where it has been derived and earned in Malaysia, and these payments are being paid out to a foreign party. Okay, so now in these situations, you would have withholding tax depending on the country of payment to the, depending to the country that it's going to be paid to. Where a certain percentage would usually be deducted from the invoice, and it needs to be remitted to the local department, to the LHDN here within 30 days from the remittance.
30 days from after the remittance or before the remittance?
After the remittance.
After the
once you remit, within 30 days you need to remit, just say 10%, you will have to withhold the 10% and remit it to the LHDN here.
What happens if that 10% or whatever percentage of the withholding tax is not paid within the time limited to do so?
Okay, so then there will be a penalty imposed by LHDN here. So therefore, it's best to, there's a 10% penalty in fact.
10%, yeah. Oh, so that's over and above. So you might as well make that payment. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Could you tell us what are the types of funds that will be liable to this withholding tax? I mean, obviously, salary and dividends are not. The person making the payment will not have to pay withholding tax on payment of salary and dividends to the director. who is currently away from Malaysia, or what other circumstances or
Okay.
remitted?
Yeah. Okay, so it would be interest, royalties, technical services, commission fees, management fees, yeah. So any of these fees that is derived and earned in Malaysia would be subject. When it comes to salary as well, it depends. In this situation, because of the COVID, the employment agreement was in and derived in Malaysia. He was receiving salary, for instance, in Malaysia. He traveled for a trip to his home country and he got stuck because of COVID. In that situation, he can carry on receiving his salary net of the taxes in Malaysia. However, if it was in a different situation, the salary may be subject to withholding tax as well.
For example, if he had provided technical services.
That's right. We provided technical services, or he had not even started the salary payments in Malaysia, and he was, it might be a contractual payment that he may be having. Things like that would be subject. So it depends on the situation. But currently, I was referring to my earlier slide was referring to the COVID situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And right. So can a foreign director receive any benefits on their visa application? What is the tax rate? Very interesting.
Okay. All right, yeah, thanks, Sukhdev. Well, having a visa will not affect any tax situation apart from opening a tax file in Malaysia. So once you get a visa, okay, it's the fact that you're given permission to work in Malaysia. When it comes to tax rates, it all depends on whether you're fulfilling the 182 days residential rates, yeah. So if you have been in Malaysia for 182 days and more, you will then be subject to the gradual tax rates, which is 0% to 30%.
That sounds like the resident tax rates.
That's right. It's similar to the resident tax rates, and this is a benefit that a foreign party can enjoy.
Otherwise, what sort of tax rates do they have to pay?
Okay, otherwise it's a flat rate of 30% that you would have to pay for any amount received.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, interesting. Right. Can a foreigner form a partnership or enterprise in Malaysia?
Okay, well, at the moment, a foreigner cannot set up a partnership or an enterprise in Malaysia. Sindrian Berhad is possible with employment pass, but in this situation, partnership and enterprise, it's not possible. There are separate laws for it, and you have to apply a partnership and enterprise with the Companies Commission of Malaysia, which is under the ROB, which is Registrar of Business. So it's not allowed. And in 2020, they have also come up with 20 businesses that foreigners are not allowed to, basically not permitted by foreigners. Okay, these are basically hypermarkets, mini markets, okay, convenience stores, petrol stations, wet markets, cyber cafes, back shops, spa, teak wood furniture shop, retail shops, mobile and prepaid phone card shop, herbal and Chinese medicine shop, jewelry shop, car workshop, computer and accessory shop, laundry shop, hair salon and barber shop, okay, 5-foot way kiosk, food and drinks kiosk, and restaurant, bistro or cafe. These businesses were basically previously allowed, and currently there has been a stop on these particular businesses. So this is a new ruling that came up in 2020. So something to look at. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just let me get back the normal screen. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have attempted to answer most of the questions that were put forward as a result of the first video recording that we did on incorporation of a company.
That's right.
And as a result of the question that I asked whether a foreigner can also become a director and or set up a company in Malaysia. Yeah. So thank you very much, Jeannie, for answering these questions.
You're welcome, Sukhdev.
It's certainly very informative, and something that I have also learned today from you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, do look out for our next video session, which will be on ways and issues arising as to the resignation of a director and the removal of a director. There are several issues, legal issues, and Jeannie will discuss the procedures regarding the resignation and the removal of the director. Okay, with that, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a general advice to empower our society and our foreign directors who have become directors of companies in Malaysia to have information and knowledge regarding issues that arose due to the pandemic COVID-19 era in the year 2020 and the current laws and procedures that are applicable. Should you require any legal advice that is sensitive to the issue that you are experiencing, please do not hesitate to contact me at Law Chambers of Sukhdev or Jeannie Seelan at JS and Partners.
At JS Partners.
Yeah,
that's right. Anytime.
So that we are able to address your issues and find solutions for you. With that, thank you very much, Jeannie.
Thank you, Sukhdev. Yeah.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, stay safe, and we'll see you again next year.
Merry Christmas, take care, have a good holiday, see you soon. Bye.
Bye.